wanted us to do a show called Twinning. Still have no idea what that was all about. Because in the middle of negotiating with them, we got a phone call from the general manager at HGTV. She said, we just signed a couple to a 1-hour pilot out of Waco named Chip and Joanna Gaines. We're going to give them a pilot. That was really loud. We're going to give them a pilot for a show called Fixer Upper. And they said, we want to give you guys no pilot, but 6 1-hour episodes for a show straight to series for a show called Flip It Forward. And we want to take the Gaines family with Fixer Upper and the Benham families in Charlotte with Flip It Forward. We want to raise you guys to the top of the network. So we said, okay, we're signing with HGTV.
How many of you know that faith that isn't tested can't be trusted? You see, before HGTV came along, as our business platform increased, our influence increased as well. And David and I were very vocal about how God's ways are best in business. God's ways are best in investing. At the same time, we looked at what was going on in culture back in 2009, 10, 11. We're like, hey, you know what? God's ways are best in all of life, including some of those areas people would consider politically incorrect. Stuff that Christians are told we're no longer allowed to talk about. How many of you know that God loves all people? God does love all people, and it's worth a hand clap. He does love all people, but while he loves all people, he does not love all ideas. What are we supposed to do with bad ideas that we know as believers hurt people? I'm not going to tell you what to do, because the scripture is very clear. 2 Corinthians 10 tells us we demolish ideas, arguments, every lofty opinion, raised against the knowledge of God. Well, David and I did that, and it created a new narrative on us. We were smeared online. Bigots, everything-ophobic, haters. This was back in 2010, long before cancel culture became a popular hashtag. We like to say we were the OGs of cancel culture. And man, we were just smeared online. They created this false narrative about us. And I remember, oh yeah, but you gotta remember, impact always involves a collision. So we were colliding with the kingdom of darkness. We didn't even realize it at that point. It was just the fangs were coming out. So when the attorneys at HGTV discovered this false narrative about us, they pushed back a little bit. I remember getting a phone call from our production company. She said, hey, HG's excited to have you guys, but they discovered this narrative about you all, and they kind of want to talk about it. You want to know what I felt when she brought that up? I felt fear. It was so heavy. I mean, it was heavier than anything I'd ever felt before, because in that moment, I heard this little voice in my head that said, uh-oh, looks like you guys are possibly going to lose this platform that HG was going to give you. They said they were going to put us in millions of homes. But now this false narrative could cost us that, and I started feeling fear. And so before I said anything, I said one of those little mumble prayers, because I didn't know how to respond to this. Have you ever done a mumble prayer before? I have no idea what I prayed, but God knew, because in that moment, he gave me just the right words. I said, you know, I know what the narrative says on us about there. None of it's true, and you know this. And she said, yeah, I know this. And I said, we are not anti-anything, regardless of what those labels may say. We are pro-Jesus. And that makes us pro-Bible. And inside the Bible, God's blessings are found inside of God's boundaries. And if we love people, we don't just talk about the blessed life. We got to talk about the boundaries you need to stay inside of in order to get those blessings. Right? That's what we do with our kids. Do we have parents or grandparents in the room? Raise your hand if you're a parent or grandparent. Okay. We give our kids boundaries. Why? Because we hate them? Because we love them. Even when your 13-year-old daughter says, you hate me, Dad, because you won't give her the keys to the car. Like, by all means, here's the keys. I don't want to be called a hater. Like, no. The minute we stop talking about boundaries, blessings are replaced with burdens. Can you see that happening in culture today? Well, I remember her response after we had this conversation. She said, oh, that's good. Because most of us at the production company, she said, almost everybody at HGTV, and I know a lot of them, and even your agents who are the Kardashian agents out of Beverly Hills.
We did not know that when we hired her.
She said, even your agents believe just like you guys, but none of us are willing to talk about it. Because that's the stronghold. Do you feel it? We all feel that. Well, David and I remember hanging the phone up and being like, wow, wipe the sweat off of my head. It's like, wow, dodged the bullet there. This is great. 2 weeks went by. Didn't get a phone call, email, text, nothing from HGTV, our agents, or the production company. And I honestly thought we were getting dumped. And I had never been dumped before.